I'd just like to move to our top story at this hour, which is, of course, that daring heist at the Louvre Museum here in Paris. The Paris prosecutor now taking to the floor to tell us more on the investigation. Listen in with us.
Summons you all here, given the heist and given everything that has unfolded since then. I am taking this opportunity to speak about the investigation because there has been a lot of excitement about the investigation. Nevertheless, we have made some major breakthroughs. We have the General Commissioner, Commissioner Caro, who is in charge of the BRB, Organized Crime Investigations Unit, and we also have Jean-Baptiste Félicité, who is in charge of the Central Division for the fight against trafficking of cultural goods. And then we also have Florent Bollard, who is the deputy in charge of Ginalco, the Paris Prosecutor's Office for Organized Crime. I wanted all of us to be here because I want to take this opportunity to thank all those people who are working in their respective teams. Thank you. Thank you very much. Since the events took place, the interregional jurisdiction in charge of the case has been investigating tirelessly 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We're working with investigative judges, also working with all forms of justice officials to ensure that justice can be served. We also have been working with the BRB, the Organized Crime Division, the Paris Prefecture, and they have worked tirelessly as well to hunt down the thieves and to find the stolen jewelry. They have used their expertise along with the OCBC investigators, all the specialists from the regional technical police divisions and scientific divisions who have been able to analyze over 150 samples taken from the scene of the crime. They have been working closely with the Paris Prefecture, who have also carried out their expertise reports in record time. We have also been working with teams from the Cybercrime Division who have done everything in their power to investigate anything taking place online that may be of use for the investigation. We have also called upon support from the other legal police divisions, from the criminal division, the minor protection division, the anti-prostitution division. We have also been working with the financial crimes division. This is just to name a few. In short, I would like to make special mention of everyone's considerable efforts, with some 100 investigators working day and night over the past few weeks to identify the criminals and, again, to locate the stolen jewelry. We currently have 189 pieces of evidence that have been taken either from the site of the theft or from our searches. On Saturday 25th, we were able to arrest 2 men. One was arrested at 8 p.m. at the Roissy airport as he was attempting to catch a flight to Algeria with a one-way ticket. The second suspect was arrested at 2040, close to his home. Nothing was to show that he was trying to flee the country, despite what some media outlets have said. It is apparent that these were the 2 men who entered the Louvre Museum. The first, 34 years of age, Algerian nationality, has been living in France since 2010 in Aubervilliers. He had no known profession on the day he was arrested. However, in the past, he had worked as a delivery man. He had been found guilty of minor infractions in the past, and he was also the owner of one of these scooters that was used to flee the scene of the crime. The other criminal is 29 years of age, says to illegally work as a taxi driver and has also worked in the past as a delivery man. He's been found guilty in the past of aggravated theft in 2008 and 2014 and is also involved in another case of aggravated theft, which is to be sent to court this November. During his audience, in light of previous attempts, mention was made of how he had used vehicles in the past as a ramming vehicle. Contrary to what some media outlets have said, the DNA samples have not come from either hair or the use of a high-vis vest. They have partially acknowledged their involvement in the events, and they are currently speaking with the investigative judges and will be questioned or will be heard in a very near future for the accusations of organized crime and multiple cases of theft for which they may run the risk of 15 years in prison. They will then appear before a sentencing judge. After that, they will be heard by the investigative judges once again, and then they will be able to make any alterations, if they wish, to their statements. The other two suspects have not been arrested, therefore we will not give you any further information on them today. The investigation is still to be held confidential and secret, given that there are two suspects still undetained. Once the stolen jewels have been found, we'll be able to return them to both the Louvre Museum and the French nation. These jewels cannot be sold. If they ever tried to sell them, anyone who bought them would make themselves guilty and complicit in this crime. Therefore, these jewels must be returned. As for what happened on the day, we now know that the raised platform vehicle, which was used to enter the gallery, was itself stolen the day before from the Val d'Oise region. The victim of that theft said that they had been contacted for a removal. When the gentleman turned up, they were held temporarily hostage while the vehicle was stolen. A lot of analytical work has been performed for all of the CCTV footage for all of Paris, covering all areas, the location of the crime, and also the trajectory taken for their escape. Thanks to that effort, we have been able to determine exactly where the criminals came prior to their arrival at the Louvre Museum. We were able to determine that they were able to change vehicles before ending up at the Louvre Museum. Using CCTV footage from the Louvre Museum and the City of Paris has also given us information, most notably the fact that there were four criminals on site wearing high-vis vests to make themselves appear as workers, and they used the raised platform to reach the Apollo's Gallery platform. They broke the window, and then they went over to two display cases. They cut the glass using a disc cutter, stole the jewels at 9:38 a.m. and they exited the same way that they came in. The crown of Eugenia, which they dropped on while they were escaping, has been found and it requires restoration work given the damage. We're still estimating the amount of damage. Some 20 witnesses have been interviewed by investigators. While the events were quite shocking, no one said that they were at all threatened. Despite what some media say, nothing so far gives us any reason to believe that there were any accomplices within the museum staff. Traces of fuel were found on the vehicle, and there was a jerry can also located nearby. And given the arrival of police and museum security, the criminals were not able to use this fuel to set fire to the raised platform machine. They then fled on scooter by the Seine River. They went back to their cars, which were located not too far away, before they headed east. The investigations are still underway, with 2 investigative judges taking on the case for organized crime. They both have the same support from the prosecutor's office, and they both have the same objective. There is a lot of emotion behind these events, and it is understandable. Nevertheless, for the sound carrying out of the investigations, we need people to remain calm and discreet. This is why I will say no more on the matter this evening. If any more information can be disclosed, we will give that information to you in due course. Thank you very much. I will now field a few questions. Obviously, I will not be able to answer any and all questions, and I cannot give you any more than what I have already said.
Bonjour, Maxime Cléruza pour BFM TV.
Maxime Cléruza for BFM TV.
De l'ADN éventuellement.
Do you have any tracks for DNA for the 2 people who have not yet been arrested? As I said, there is a lot of evidence that we can work with, but I won't be able to tell you any more about that now. Given the regular police work that we carry out, what I would like to highlight about this specific case is that we had a lot of all investigative services working together, working quite tirelessly, and I really want to thank all of them. I can't name each and every one of them because there are so many of them, but we did get to work with the major criminal investigation teams, with the local police and with all the investigative teams, and we have worked with all of the evidence-taking teams to try and determine what sort of leads we can now work with. And once we have DNA samples, if we do get DNA samples, we compare them to what we have already found to determine whether they match with the current suspect that we have in custody or if they belong to others. We also want to see if there is a match, and if we do have a match, we then need to find the current address of those people concerned so that we can arrest them. Now, I don't think there is any point going into further detail now, but given that one of the suspects was about to leave the country on Saturday, that is the reason why we accelerated the arrest procedures. Then once again, I would just like to make special mention of the fantastic work that was being done on the ground and behind the scenes to make sure that that arrest could go through. You said that they partially admitted to the events. What can you tell us about the statements? I won't be able to tell you any more about the statements, given that they're still being consulted with by the investigative magistrates and judges. All I can say is that their accomplices are hopefully listening to what I'm saying to you now, but again, I won't be able to give you any more information.
Can I ask a question of Monsieur Caro, my colleague who translates?
Just as I was saying, if we have any new information, and I hope I will be able to have new information for you, then we will be able to meet with you in due course. However, today I'll be the only one speaking. I just wanted them here so that we could acknowledge their work.
Either of the two men who were charged was the ringleader, or is the mastermind still at large?
I won't answer any questions concerning all of the suspects because the investigation is still undergoing. Thanks to CCTV footage, we have been able to quite clearly identify the involvement of 4 people, but there is nothing to rule out the fact that there may be a larger group behind the scenes or other people involved. For example, people who were meant to receive the stolen jewels. I won't answer that question because to do so would be to give away some elements of our investigation which are still confidential. Two final questions. Do you think that they were aware of what they were stealing or what type of theft they were committing? Well, I think they were fully aware that they were there to steal jewels. That is quite clear. But the future will tell us whether they were fully aware of exactly what they were stealing or not. But again, what we have are we are dealing with delinquents, petty criminals. Only one of them so far has been found guilty in the past of petty theft. But this is all just hearing from what they have had to say. There was one of them who said that they used a car to ram into an ATM machine, but this is just according to their own statement so far. There's no more to go on. Do you have any knowledge as to whether they have damaged or broken down the jewels to sell them on? Again, this is information that I won't be able to share with you today, even if I did have it. About the DNA samples, have any of them matched with people already known to the justice system? I won't make any statements on the investigation. Thank you very much. Well, now I'd like to finish up with just a lady. The police said that they weren't first called by the museum. The first time they heard about a theft taking place was a cyclist riding by at 9:36. So that's about 30 seconds after the museum. What is due to this mismatch? In light of what I have already said today, the police arriving on the scene of the crime occurred at the same time as the security guards from the museum, and this is what stopped the criminals from setting fire to the raised platform that they used to enter the building. And because of that, we have been able to take a number of samples. Hopefully, next time we meet, all of us will be able to speak, because that would mean that our investigation has been highly successful.